Powered by Riverside.
It's the Dynasty front office, and we are building you championships one trade at a time. Trade banger of the week, presented by no one yet, but it could be presented by you. Join the Discord, send us your trade bangers, and it could be you next week that we're talking about. Chad, what do we got this week?
Yeah, excited about this one. So in this trade banger, we've got a league format, which is a start 10 superflex, one running back, and 0.75 tight end premium. Team 1 receives Bucky Irving, Zach Charbonnet, Evan Ingram. Team 2 receives Sam LaPorta and a 2026 first, projected to be a mid to late.
All right, right on. That's a trade banger. I can give you guys a little bit of context on this since I'm in the league. Team 2 is in a full rebuild. All right, Austin.
Off first glance, the Bucky side is the side that interests me the most, assuming I'm trying to score points. I think Evan Ingram's a really enticing prospect for the next 2 or 3 years. So that, and then Bucky's got that top 5 ceiling, and Charbonnet's just one unfortunate Kenneth Walker injury away from giving you top 12 running back weekly. Porta, a little bit scary with the change in Detroit, but does have, what we've seen as a tight end 1 overall season. So obviously has an elite upside as well. And a first is always a good piece to get. So I don't really have an issue with the trade either way, but just at first glance, the Bucky side feels like the side I would prefer.
So Charbonnet, you're calling a high value handcuff.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a flex play currently unless they change their offense.
Along the lines of Tyler Algier.
Sure.
Late second, third round.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to cost a second from 95% of dynasty managers because of the ability that he can gain very quickly. But I mean, you can't use him any week. I saw he's never had 10 touches in a game Kenneth Walker played the entire game.
Mike,
that's crazy.
Okay. Mike, you're the Denver guy. Austin just said something outrageous that Evan Ingram's you're going to get 2 to 3 years of production out of Evan Ingram, who's what, 31?
Is he really that old?
Yeah, he is.
I don't think it's outrageous for him to get 2 years. I think 2 to 3 is pretty fair to say. I think they didn't bring him in on a 1-year plan. So, I don't know. I really like it. Like, I like the offense. I like Knicks. And I'm not super high ever really on Broncos before this year. So,
what would you pay for Evan Ingram? As far as
fantasy?
What would you pay for Evan Ingram just on his own?
I think it's probably, like, what would I pay, or what is he? Like, in a 0.75, I think early second is pretty fair.
Early second and 0.75. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, which is what we're messing with. So, yeah, I mean, I would say a second and a third from a playoff team, something like that.
Right now. Not
if you're trying to buy a veteran, I mean.
Yeah, if you're trying to buy a veteran and fill a tight end position that you really don't have anything, like, it wouldn't shock me if Ingram finished ahead of LaPorta this season.
Chad, do you agree with all of that?
Yeah. I'm terrified of LaPorta this year, and a lot of it has to do with how I feel about the players outside of LaPorta in that offense as well. Amon-Ra is going to be Amon-Ra, and I think Jamison Williams takes another step forward this year, personally. I just from what my eyeballs tell me, just don't think LaPorta is the guy that everybody was trying to make him out to be when we saw, some of that elite production, especially in that down tight end year. But this past season, I think, is kind of what we saw this past season is kind of what I would expect going forward a little bit, with the safety net there of the touchdowns, just because he has been so good in the red zone. That is one area I think he's probably rated correctly on. But yeah, Evan Ingram, I think, is a great buy in that offense if you can get him this offseason, and I think the price is pretty nice. So I prefer team 1 with Bucky Irving. I think coming into the season, I think the hype was legitimate. I think he is a really good player. I'm excited about him. Evan Ingram, I think, is going to beat the value you're spending on him. I don't think it's out of consideration for him to you to get 2 to 3 years out of him, like somebody was saying earlier. Even with him turning 31, I think that's fair. He's still a pretty athletic player who hasn't shown signs of slowing down a whole lot. And Zach Charbonnet is just one of those guys where, I mean, if some way he was able to get a hold of that job, he's a good player. So, the first is buoying that team 2 side with LaPorta there, but I'm scared of LaPorta, and he's carrying the significant, weight of that trade on that side. So,
Austin and Mike. Austin, I'm sorry. Let's go to Austin. Do you agree with that, LaPorta? Are you afraid of LaPorta this year?
Yeah, I mean, you have to be worried a little bit. I mean, just last year with what we saw in Detroit, he's played 16 games, 83 targets compared to 120 the year before, 60 receptions compared to 86 the year before, 7 touchdowns compared to 10. So, the yards per catch went up and the yards per target went up this past year, but the target share went down considerably, and I'm assuming a lot of that's healthy players. So we don't know what the new offense is going to look like. We don't know the health, but assuming he's healthy, I mean, you're aiming for mid-range tight end 1 numbers after what we saw. Whereas before last year, we were expecting top 3 yearly numbers every year. So there has to be some kind of worry. Saying all that, Dan Campbell is the one that kind of started this offense before Ben Johnson got famous. So I think we see a very similar offense in Detroit. I think the worry's a little bit overhyped, but we are going to have a degree of it, which is why LaPorta's valued where he is now compared to what we saw, 12 months ago.
All right. Mike, you got anything else?
No, I don't think so. Like at the end of the day, like I think it's a fair trade for both sides, right? And I mean, for a rebuilding team, like I can get it. I don't know if I want to center it around what some would consider elite tight end, but like we've talked about, I think that's kind of questionable. So, but it's certainly fair. I could just definitely see the team 1 side gaining quite a bit of value with Ingram and Charbonnet as the season goes.
All right. There's your trade banger of the week. Join the Discord. Post your trades. Could be you next week.
Powered by Riverside.